What does it mean to be a witch?
Well, as a believer in the material world and a psychiatrist to boot, I'm convinced that the current spread of belief in magic and the occult is part of mental illness. Bad luck isn't brought by broken mirrors, but by broken minds.
Hey, yo, friends. Hey, yo, family. Welcome back. It's another crazy In Madness Monday, and we're here with episode 163 of my favorite podcast, Vertebrae's favorite podcast, and I'm pretty sure your favorite podcast, In Madness Pod. How the hell's it going, Vertebrae?
What's going on, Shawn? This is going to be an interesting one for a bunch of reasons. We'll get into it in a sec, but chiefly being this insane movie that we're going to talk about.
That we would have probably never hit, I don't think, in the In Madness.
I don't think so, and I'm really happy that we did, because I noticed influences of this movie on other movies that we've watched and talked about.
I mentioned them in my notes.
So I was very appreciative of that.
I feel cultured after this episode.
Yes.
This is going to help you feel cultured as well. We're taking you to a higher level of movie watching for the premiere podcast, In Madness Pod, on the socials at In Madness Pod. You can hit us in the mail sack, which is looking pretty dry these days. Hit us with some emails, some voice notes. I mean, there's millions in there, but ones worth reading are just pretty dry. InMadnessPod at gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure, no matter how you're listening or watching, make sure you like and subscribe, comment, give us the 5-star reviews. Check out the In Madness Spotify playlist. Who the hell knows what we're going to add to it this week? It keeps growing and growing like this monster of a podcast every single week. Make sure you tell everybody you know about this show. Spread the madness. Tell your friends, tell your uncles, your aunts, your parents, your buddies, your bullies about In Madness Pod. Spread the tentacles around the world, around the galaxy. We drop a new episode every single Monday, which has now been branded In Madness Monday on every calendar and Webster's dictionary. Mondays are now In Madness Monday, and you can get a shirt and a mug. Oh, Manny, you see the homie Manny from Comic-Con? Okay, first off, Vertebrae's got the new In Madness shirt on. You could check it out on the YouTube. But Manny posted, he's got us on his TV screen with the In Madness logo with his In Madness mug. Shout outs to Manny from Comic-Con. He does Funko Pop, I think he's at.
Yeah, very cool.
So get a shirt and a mug at inmadness.com. What mug do you have this week, Vertebrae?
So, Shawn, I do not have a mug this week. For the first time ever, I have an IPA in a glass for a reason that we're going to get into in a sec. But I had to shift. I guess I could have put it into a mug, but, I had to shift. So I'll get into it quickly here, and then we'll move on to the movie. If you listen and follow along to this episode for a while, we often mention certain people who are friends and family to this wild ride that Shawn and I are on. And one of those is our buddy Spooky Speeg. And when we mentioned in the last episode, we said we're going to pivot to another movie for our buddy Spooky Speeg because he was dealing with something. So unfortunately, our buddy passed away. And we've made the decision to still do this episode for him. And Shawn, I will say this, and I'm not going to get into a lot of details out of sort of just, privacy for his family. But I did have a last conversation with him, and we did discuss In Madness podcast.
Speeg, yeah.
And I said to him, what movie, if we could cover a movie for you, and I will tell you, the conversation was kind of like, hey man, I don't got a lot of time. So, and I was like, okay, what if we could do a movie, what movie would do for you? And he named 2 movies. And the first one he named was the one we're doing now, Suspiria. And he said to me, there's no way you're going to do it because it's going to drive Shawn fucking nuts. That's what he said to me.
And here we are, Speeg.
And here we are. And we're doing it for him. And unfortunately, when I got the news that he passed and Shawn and I were texting, I said to him, no matter what, we have to do this episode for him. and we're still going to go the movie through the movie the way we normally do. We're probably going to give him a little bit of a hard time
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna break
razz him
Speeg's
on
balls a
certain
little
points.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we want to do it that way. We want to be enjoyable for everybody who's listening. And Shawn, the only thing I'll say is it gives everyone pause to think about how short this can be. And, no moment is for granted. So I love doing this podcast. This podcast is not always easy to do in our schedules. And, Shawn's got to be hanging out with a gazillion rock stars and all that stuff.
You
But we
too.
get it.
You
We get
too.
it in. We get it in.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it. And we do it for the love of it and for friendship and for all of that and for all the people who listen to us. So I really appreciate that. Anyone who takes this ride with us, even if you dip in only once in a while, much appreciated. We're going to keep doing this, and no other weight attached to it than if I'm having a conversation with somebody in that setting for a short period of time and the podcast comes up, which was not even my doing. It was his doing. And I was blown away by that. So I will tell you that Speeg was one of the ones that encouraged me to do this podcast when we first did that little kind of dry run on Instagram where we went over Halloween 2.
Oh yeah.
Right? Or was it the first Halloween? It was the first Halloween.
We did the first Halloween the first
Halloween.
time, and then I think we did Halloween 2.
We did it for real. Yeah. But and he was like, I thought it was great. And I think you should do it. I think it'd be fun. And early on, I'd get feedback from him. And I was always very, very hard on myself. And he was very positive about what we were doing and would listen to the episodes and text me after he listened to them with questions or be like, oh, that was hilarious. Or, give Shawn a hard time about this or that, fun things like that. So, which is fantastic. And we're still giving Shawn a hard time and myself, I guess, a little with this episode. So anyway, we're doing it for him. And firstly, I want to say thank you, for who you are as a person and who you were as a man, but also thank you for having Shawn and I watch a movie that I feel like we should have watched a long time ago. It's almost embarrassing when I started watching this that neither of us had seen this movie. And this is where the hardcore horror fans turn off this podcast and say, like Comic Book Guy, worst podcast ever, right? Because we didn't, but we did it now, guys. So
we eventually get there, and that's great. I mean, and we watched the original Nosferatu from like 1933 and like stuff that I feel like I should watch, but then I'm like, oh, but I've got to watch Godzilla 1985 again real quick, and then I'll get to this movie. So
yeah, I mean, listen, there's always
got this.
There's comfort food, Shawn, right? It's just, sometimes you're like, you look at a movie like, Suspiria from 1977, Italian supernatural horror film by Dario Argento.
In a ballet school. And I'm like,
yeah, what? And you're flicking channels at 11:30 at night. You may not want something as heavy or as weird or something you have to pay attention to as much. So you'll go to your comfort food. You're going to go to, I'll watch that again. I'll put Shin Godzilla on for a while. Ironically enough, my comfort movie was like Godzilla -1. Just be like, hey, I got some time. I'm gonna watch a little Godzilla.
Still a heavy movie.
Very heavy movie to be a comfort movie. It should be like Step Brothers or something, or Old School maybe. But I don't know. I would just like, yeah, exactly. I would just put it on. But Dario Argento, Shawn, super influential in the horror and giallo genres of the 70s and 80s. And often some people call him the master of the thrill or the master of horror. And he has a grouping of movies which I have only ever seen one other one of these films. So Suspiria, 1977, Deep Red, 1975, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, 1970, Tenebra, I guess that's how you pronounce it, 82, which slasher film, Phenomena, featuring Jennifer Connelly in 1985. I did see that one, and that's weird. Opera, 1987, and The Cat o' Nine Tails in 1971. So that's not obviously in the order, but these are, influential films that he did. And this film, Shawn, is part of what they call the Three Mothers trilogy. So the two other films would be Inferno and Mother of Tears.
Okay.
I don't know what the connection is between those.
Okay.
But I think that's kind of like how Carpenter, they talk about films that are connected in the like that Carpenter universe, right? He has the films they refer to, but they're not connected in any way, right? So I think that's where that comes from. Film score by the Italian band Goblin. What an insane score. Crazy repetitive, right? But there's two big themes in this. One, I think, Shawn, is like it's almost like feels like a kid's theme or something like a little more like fairy tale-ish, right? And then another one that's just
there's a heavy
like,
Exorcist vibe for one of these that I get.
Yes, and you all the sounds and everything.
Yeah, and the crescendoing like tension and the strings, the shining, like the shrieking. Yeah.
So, Italian horror films dubbed in English, right? So they record all the dialogue and then they dub over in English. So Argento is blasting this goblin theme, this sound, the score, while they're filming this movie in giant speakers to add to the mood. So when these actors are doing all the things they have to do, they're hearing those sounds as they're going through it. So I think a couple things that are extremely striking besides the score, and I guess, maybe just sort of the weirdness of it at times, is the color, right? This is a huge part of this. And we've talked about it before in other movies. We talked about the red being certain places. Red is all over this movie. And there's often areas where there's blue light on the side of something, and then they open a door and the red comes through, and then the green hits you on another end, and they're mixing. And, this is one of the last movies filmed with this 3-process strip process, which is Technicolor. Same process that gives The Wizard of Oz its look. And I'll tell you, I don't know if we'll ever do The Wizard of Oz on here, but The Wizard of Oz is just an incredibly beautiful film right now. Right now. And I feel like something's missing if you're producing. There should be still some movies that come out looking like that. So stark, so colorful, so, really lends to the fairy tale-ness of it all. But, so it's funny because when he's doing this movie, Shawn, they're throwing out all this Technicolor equipment because everybody's moving on. I don't think that would happen now. They hold on to everything now, but he wanted it to have that look. Argento wanted this to feel like a twisted fairy tale. We almost get our Alice in Wonderland in the beginning, and this movie, there's Exorcist things all over it, right? Feels like that. Psycho. Geez. Now thinking about it, like the movie Weapons seems to have borrowed a lot from this film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Witch a little bit.
Clearly,
yeah. I think there's a lot of those, a lot of those A24 weird horror movies seem to, those guys are seemingly dipping into Argento and the weirdness of it all. And there's other directors as well. But yeah, it's funny. It's one of those movies where I feel like as I was watching it, I feel like I should have seen it a long time ago. The whole time. I'm like, damn it.
Listen, man, we've been alive. We've been on this planet a long time, and it's great to be able to experience these things even this late in our lifetime, to at least say that we've experienced this, and now I can talk about it when it comes up in conversations.
Yeah, we can be cool. Thanks, Speeg. We can be cool with other horror people
for making us look cool for the Argento nerds.
What hits you first before we're gonna dive into the movie now, I promise. But what hits you first when you start watching this movie? What are you thinking when you first?
I mean, I think the color is something that stands out the most for me. These bright, shining colors, and like I just knew it was gonna be a weird friggin' movie, so I was just kind of sitting in for the ride, being like, "All right, Speeg, here we go. Let's and I'm glad it wasn't Martyrs."
Yeah.
That's all.
Sorry, Kaposi.
Yeah, that's all I didn't want it to be, and it wasn't. It had martyrs
Mm-mm.
elements to it, but
It did.
I was like, I just hope this, because that's what these international movies are. A lot of them are, it's torture porn, and I'm like, I just hope
Mhm.
this isn't a 70s torture, Last House on the Left, you know, all the like all, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
just hope it's not that, and it wasn't. Like it was a you know, a horror movie, just like a good regular ass horror movie.
Yeah,
But the
with a
color, it was
lot of
striking, definitely.
yeah, and the way they filmed certain scenes and camera angles and going into reflections, or there's a scene where you go to the reflection of the building where the people are talking kind of off, they zoom past the people and we're watching the reflection instead. Also, Sean, water. We always talk about water in these movies with Seven and these other movies. This rain is pretty important. There's a lot of like biblical stuff wrapped into a lot of religions with flood accounts and things like that, and we get this flooding rain at the beginning when it's kind of all going down. And yeah, it's I am curious now to see how many movies we see for this podcast from this point forward where we see something and we're like, huh,
Suspiria.
yeah, I bet you it pops up way more than we ever thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like getting into it's like back in the day when the first punk rock band that people listened to was somebody might have been Green Day, right? And then they're like, "Huh," and then they dive back and they're like, "Oh, this is where Green Day got this from, and this is where that got this is what this feels like. We're late to the party, but it doesn't matter because we're now at this weird Italian party."
And maybe doing this will get some of the In Madness family to watch Suspiria, some weird ass movie that they've never seen before.
Yeah, and I'll tell you my In Madness moment. For some reason, the entire time I was watching this movie, or a good amount of the time I was watching this movie, my dog was in this really weird mood.
Oh
And she was
no.
like, I think it was because, I'm I'm alternate human, right? I'm second human to mom. And I think it's just mom wasn't home. But there were a couple points where she'd just go to the door and kind of whine and then walk away from the door. And I'm like, all right, don't do this
And in
now.
the background, you heard witch, witch, witch,
Yeah,
witch.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, don't do this now because, I don't want you chewing my neck out later
Don't, yeah,
on.
protect your neck,
You
as
know what I
Wu-Tang
mean?
says.
But, you should add that to the In Madness Spotify
Yeah.
playlist. But, we should add some Goblin. We should add something from the score, and Goblin has played this score live too. They've done some touring to this, and they kind of have a big following of their own music as well, separate from, scores. But, I'm ready to go. This movie presented by Salvador Argento. So obviously Pops is hooking the man up with the movie here. And I think I'm ready to dive in, Sean.
Hell yeah. As we dedicate this episode of Suspiria to the memory of our lovely brother, Spooky Speeg, we're diving into this movie. I'm thinking he's listening along. I'm going to talk to him while we're doing this because just some things I'm like, Speeg, what? What are you? Okay, Speeg. Okay. So again, we got the music. It's a lot like The Shining. And you get this tense, horrifying, the shrieking of these string instruments. They're already, you're built up with tension. We got a girl at the airport. This is Susie, our main character. She's walking down into this storm. It's raining like a mother effer. She gets in a cab. She's going to Esserstrasse.
Yeah. So Sean, you know what's crazy? First thing is, how could you not get a cab outside the airport? Aren't they just lined up like and
They're waiting, sitting there ready to scam you.
Why are the other cabs? Is she not at the right spot? Like, why are they shooting by her? They already have somebody in there. Do they not care? She has to like get out into the road to get a cab. And then you said the Escher, what was it? Escherstrasse?
Esserstrasse, I think.
So you're going to see a lot of MC Escher artwork and inspired wallpapers and stuff off MC Escher artwork throughout this movie. So that was another nod as well.
I'm immediately in love with the lighting in this cab. It's red, it's purple, it's red. We got heavy thunder outside. So I'm like, all right, I can see the artistic value that Speeg holds in this. I'm like, this is an artsy fartsy sort of cool visual looking movie. She's driven into this forest, this giant red castle looking structure building. The music in the background kind of sounds like it's yelling, witch, witch.
Yeah, they're telling us right away, just like weapons, right on the side of a car. But Sean, before that, we do get this narration. We get this like little voiceover that takes place on there, which is we never get it again. We just get this little, like, it's like this weird little voiceover. Yeah, it's interesting. And then we get this very like black metal looking forest, I felt
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then she gets to this building and a woman comes running out in a tizzy and she runs off. Susie's trying to use the intercom to get in the house, but she's refused entry. She's come all the way from New York. She received a letter invite in the mail. She still can't get in, so she gets back in the cab and leaves.
And Sean, that building, this incredible red building that she's in front of, is in the corner of Freiburg's Old Town in Germany, and it's called the Haus zum Walfisch, or Whale House. So they think it connected, the whale house being connected to the biblical legend of Jonah, right? So we've got this water and we've got this whale house, and what a crazy, it's a real building. You can visit it. That's what the In Madness headquarters should look like. That red building. Yeah. Although I don't think either of us are man enough to stay in it that long, because I think it's
prancing
just like
around doing ballet.
It's like 5 floors of. Really? Could you get on your toes like that with those shoes on?
Wow. I was like, what is going on in this movie? What is this school? What is happening here?
Yeah, it's weird, Sean, because it's like it's ballet, but it's also like where they mention it as being they should already know how to dance. They say it at one point. It's more of like a finishing school.
Yeah.
What are we finishing? And then we find out later what we are finishing.
Yeah. So she's driving back through the rain, through the woods, and we see the girl who escaped the castle. She's running whatever. The building. It looks like a castle. It's huge. Mm-hmm. She's running through the woods, and we see her enter this other large building. She gets in an elevator. Apparently, this girl was kicked out of the school, and she wants to now run away forever. All of the decor in this place is very shining, very bright red, 70s, like exploding in your face.
We see right away, we see some M.C. Escher art with these fish and birds kind of pattern that's on the wall in there, like in the wallpaper. Pretty crazy.
Also, my friends, I guess this brings me immediately to my milking of the alpacas moment.
Milking of the alpacas moment.
Because there's this real long scene of her like looking out windows and looking through windows, but then you see a little pair of eyeballs in the dark. His hand crashes through the glass, pulls her face through the glass. She's getting stabbed to death like 1,000,000 times, and if that's not enough, she gets hung. Like, damn, Speeg. Is this how we're starting this off immediately? Like, this is what we had to watch? This is what you recommended immediately to Vertebrae that we had to cover? Okay.
Yeah, he hacks her open. We see like the heart, and it's that very like it's almost like the karate movie blood, right? The very like paint, like the red paint looking kind of
bright
blood,
red,
bright red, all over the place. And she comes gets hung and shattering through this like giant stained glass skylight. And then we see, Sean, that it's killed the other woman that's there at the place.
So it looks like it killed somebody else that was there. I couldn't tell
the
if
lady
was
she was talking to when she kind of took her in from the storm, and she's there. The glass then like takes that giant piece of glass and just goes like, yeah, exactly. Spooky Speeg, what are you doing to us?
We got
right here?
What is happening here?
This is literally in madness, the beginning of this movie.
So now we're back at our original large red building, and we see our blind buddy walking in.
Yeah.
And I wrote dog. I like this guy.
I do like this guy, and I wrote in my notes, first suspect.
I was like, yeah. So it wasn't at this point. It was later on, right before he gets got, actually. I was like, oh, maybe he's in on it. But Argento knew I was thinking that and was like, oh, actually.
Yeah. There's a point in this movie where I think that we're getting a clue kind of thing going on. And then I think there was a point where I was like pretty sure we might be eating people or something, but that didn't happen either.
This wasn't the menu or what you thought the menu was going to be. So Susie returns to this house, and this time she's let in. The whole inside of this place is bright blue, all these bright, shiny colors all throughout this movie.
Mhm.
She's explaining to this lady in charge, this very hardcore Miss Tanner, that she wasn't let in last night. She doesn't understand how that happened. She introduces Susie to the head person in charge, Madame Blanc. Susie is a new student at this academy. So Madame Blanc is telling Susie about the girl yesterday who was expelled for improper conduct. She was then murdered and stabbed and hung, and all these horrible things happened to her. Madame Blanc is telling this to detectives who are talking about the murdered girl. They're discussing the time that she left, which was the same time that Susie got there. And she's overhearing this conversation and begins spilling the beans to the cops about her run-in with this girl.
Yeah, we get detective-y bits. And I think Blanc is also the last name of the investigator guy in like Glass Onion and what were those other Ryan Johnson mystery films, Knives Out and stuff. I think the detective's name is Blanc, something Blanc. But anyway, we start getting detective-y bits. Shawn, I think is this a point? Do we meet weird little Albert at this point right around here?
It is
too?
at this point we meet our resident handyman. This large dude with a bunch of fake teeth. He kind of looks like Lurch from the
Mhm.
Addams Family.
Yeah, Pavlos, the handyman, who they are immediately so mean to.
Not Susie. Susie has a
no.
heart of gold.
And I have in my notes suspect number 2
Oh,
because like
that's
he was kind of a big dude.
mhm.
And if we're getting like a Castle Freak kind of thing going on here, but like there was a pretty big arm that came through crashing through that window. Although that person was like must have been floating in the air. Like I don't I'm not
Yeah,
sure
because
what
there
was
was like
really
a
going
third
on.
floor window or something.
Yeah, there's something about a building like this, Shawn, that's too clean, bright, and ornate. And maybe it's from watching weird movies like this movie that make me uncomfortable. Like, I understand that, like, if this happens and somebody ends up in a dark, creepy castle, that's often the way we go in movies. But like this leads me more to like daytime horror. It's all bright and everyone's
Clean,
there clean and everybody's just being nice to
no
you,
spider
like too
webs.
nice to you. And yeah, yeah.
It is in my notes. I have apparently this is a dancing school? Question mark. She says, Susie sits down next to a girl who, to me, looks a hell of a lot like the girl who got murdered a bit ago. To the point where I was like, "Is this a ghost? Is this the same girl? It's a different girl." But I was like, "Is this the girl reliving her life now?" But it wasn't.
Yeah, I will have to say, all these the ballet students or finishing school students or whatever it is, all start to blend together
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me a
Susie
little
is
bit.
the only one with any redeemable qualities.
Yeah.
But they're all friends, and some of these girls are enemies. They've been living in this place for a while. Susie's new here
Mhm.
in this ballet school. So Susie's living with one of these girls. Dude's dropping off her luggage. Her friend's making fun of him. He's got no money. So there's this chick's stuck up.
Mm.
They're discussing the murdered girl. Susie says when she saw her, she was saying things that made no sense. They had a quick interaction before they split paths. Her roommate tells her the girl was such a troublemaker. Apparently,
Yeah,
the
and
murdered girl said secret iris or secret flower.
Shawn, these interactions that they have play out like they should be much younger than they are. And I think that's because Argento originally wanted them to be much like younger kids and still make the same movie. And
Mm,
then like his father who's producing it and other people gave it pause and were like, no, 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 you got to cast people older than like he
mm,
wanted like kids to
no,
be happening to children
no.
and they didn't. But when they get all like making fun of each other and there's somebody sticking their tongue out and stuff, it's like, okay, that feels like something in the script that they just didn't rewrite and they just sort of left it in. That would make more
Mhm.
sense if they were much younger
Yeah.
than they are. There was no for a movie in 1977 horror movie, zero nudity, which was interesting. Usually in those 70s horror
There
movies,
was some boobage.
they always throw
Wasn't
in
there some
like a
boobage in
good
this
long
movie?
scene of it. No, I don't think so. I don't think
Ah, you
so.
sure?
Yeah. I mean,
Alright.
I could have missed it because I was
Yeah,
so
maybe.
sort of freaked out by other stuff. But yeah, it's too clean, this place, Shawn. It's freaking me out.
So this is my question was going to be: you think Speeg was into ballet?
Imagine, like on the side, he was also into ballet a little
Would
bit.
you be doing this ballet in the ballet school?
No, and a finishing school too. Like it's more like, first of all, I don't want to live there with all of them, and I don't know what's. Obviously, they know some weird stuff's going on. Also, the blind guy shows up and just leaves his dog out front the
Like
whole
a
time
bike
he's in there.
with a lock on it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's not so nice.
Weird.
Pavlos would freak me out. The handyman would freak me out.
He is a scary looking dude.
Really big dude, giant fake teeth, doesn't speak the same language. I don't.
The other thing I was going to ask if you and Speeg knew the Homer Simpson ballet bit where Marge wants to go see ballet and Homer's like, yeah, but in his mind, ballet is a bear in a car driving around in a circle. One of my favorite Simpsons bits of all time. Tom Henderson knows what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
Madam Blank tells Susie her room is ready, but Susie wants to stay where she's at with her current roommate. She doesn't want to move. Then we got this creepy woman, the housekeeper lady, and the super creepy kid who's wearing like this 16th century garb with like the thing around his neck, and I don't know what it's called.
Weird. That's Weird Little Albert I put in my notes.
They're staring at Susie. They shine this silver thing in her eyes, blinding her. And again, we hear the chant, witch! This has a strange effect on Susie, making her very lightheaded.
Did you know it was witch right away?
Only because I watch everything with subtitles.
Yeah, like I don't think right away I noticed because I didn't. I started watching without subtitles, and then at some point I turned them on. So I think the first few times that happened, now it seems silly because it's clear as day. But I was just like, it's just like a sound, like I don't know.
I feel like it gets clearer as the movie goes on. Because at first I was like, I guess, yeah, I mean, I did see it on the screen, or maybe it wasn't always displayed on the screen. It probably was. Yeah, me watching everything with subtitles has ruined Shawn facts for this show because now I just know everything.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'll try. I got to try doing it without the subtitles, but it's so hard to get the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Susie goes to Miss Tanner's class, tells her she's very lightheaded, but Miss Tanner doesn't give a shit. She wants to see what Susie's got. She tries dancing, but she's in this trance. She can barely move. Tanner's just yelling at her, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, till Susie collapses like me at the Bog Show, but she's got a bloody nose.
Yeah, and before that, Shawn, we met this love interest boy that was kind of into Susie, and I put in my notes suspect as well. Like he was kind of too into her. So I already had 3 suspects if we were headed down a path of it not being this coven, spoiler alert for a movie that came out in 1977. You know what's crazy is we're doing this now, but next year would be like a big anniversary year for Suspiria. Yeah. And then you and I are in on it now, Shawn.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, we're gonna be like, yeah, it's the anniversary of Suspiria. Yeah, I know that movie, man. Of course I know that movie.
There's also the remake, and you're like, don't watch the remake. We should watch the remake and trash it on a 0.5.
It's probably not good, right?
It can't be. Why would it be? Susie wakes up in her bed with friggin' Miss Tanner just shoving this 2-liter pitcher of water just in her teeth and in her mouth, just banging it into
just
her
like
gums.
Jamming it into her face. Like, what is going on?
And while that's happening, Doc's injecting her with a needle with drugs, and he's like, eat bland food and drink red wine. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
And they call him Professor, and I wrote crazy professor giving her a needle, another suspect.
So in this point in my notes, I wrote, now I'm catching on. Something fishy is going on here.
Mm-hmm. They're all in on it.
While Susie was passed out, they moved all of her stuff into the place that she didn't want to move into.
Yeah.
Now she's with this girl who looks to me like the murdered girl in the beginning.
If I was moving and if I moved out of this house and somebody came along and out of the goodness of their heart just moved everything into my new place, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, you'd be like, thank God.
Yeah. But like in this case, like super creepy. Like they were weirded out that she wasn't going to stay there. They suddenly were able to get the room back together and have her be there. Yeah, no good.
And if you didn't move out yet,
maggots
begin raining from the ceiling.
Yes,
Everybody is freaking out, but we get more of these cool, bright colors, these blues and these reds, just the entire lens and the entire scope, everything. The walls are red. Everything has this red on it and this blue on it.
This entire movie has a little bit of an icky feeling to it. Like, I don't think this is a eat a meal while you watch this movie. You get a lot of weirdness in there.
2 ickies on the vertebrae icky meter out of 5.
I mean, the maggots, though, Shawn.
Maybe 3 ickies.
Yeah, the maggots kind of like they're just wriggling, and the girls are running up the hallway, and they're all like raining maggots. That should be a song, right? Like
good band name.
Yeah, raining maggots.
Raining maggots.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, awful. And I thought those maggots are going to be coming from a dead body.
So Miss Tanner goes to investigate where all these maggots are coming from. The whole attic is flooded with them. They're all coming from this box that they rip open, and there's maggots everywhere. I couldn't tell what this box was, but immediately they explained that it was food in the box, because I guess they also knew it was hard to see and that it must have spoiled, hence the maggots.
So I will say now, after seeing the entire movie, I don't think that was food.
Okay.
I think that was another body that they had there that they were going to be sacrificing.
True, probably.
Yeah. Although I don't know how quickly maggots set up. If you're an expert on it, let us know. But yeah, that's a lot of ickies in that scene, Shawn. A lot.
4.5 ickies at least.
On that scene, not on the whole movie.
Just on the maggot scene. So now Madame Blanc has her staff form this makeshift dorm for the girls in this gymnasium looking room.
Yeah, makeshift room. I put with sheets and cots, and then I wrote in my notes, could you sleep like this, Shawn?
No, I need my white noise machine. I wouldn't want to. I can't sleep in an open room with a bunch of people. I need like an enclosure. I need like my melatonies.
So the whole time I'm thinking of this Seinfeld episode where like there was like a sheet up in the hospital and somebody was getting like a sponge bath on the other side of the sheet, because you get like the silhouettes, right? And on the other side, and it's lit red, right? It's blue lights on the outside, Shawn, and red lights on the inside. We do get a lot of like, we got that heart being stabbed in the beginning, and we get a lot of like heart references to this, like in this room, this makeshift room, almost being a heart unto itself. And you hear weird sounds and almost like a faint beat at certain points. Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, I like the way this is shot, because this whole dorm is these white sheets hanging everywhere and the lights are on, and then they're like, all right, we're going to turn the lights off, and you hear the click, and then when the light goes off, everything in the room turns red, which is really cool.
I gotta get some of that lighting.
Yeah, you should. And behind the sheets, we could see the silhouettes, which is visually, it's very, very pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, and the whole time we've seen the silhouettes I was waiting for like something, I'm waiting for like Pavlos to show up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking here, and I knew about this movie before, but it would have been out of my mind. So I didn't read the synopsis of it as I watched it. So I just kind of was learning as it went along. I kept thinking we're going to get a Texas Chainsaw moment where like the whole crew was really in on it. And it's this, messed up family. And we sort of do. We
see this silhouette of something behind Susie. It's laying in a bed on the other side of the sheet, and we got all this tense, creepy music playing in the background, making it just a scary ass moment.
Oh, and we hear Shawn snoring behind the curtain. He also sounds a little like a dog when he snores as well. And the girl's telling her about the directress.
Yes, the girls cannot sleep because of the snoring behind the sheet. And she says, Susie's talking to her friend. She says they've been lied to. The head directress of the ballet academy is there. She's the one snoring. Susie's friend knows all about this head directress because she used to sleep near her. And now she says she's right behind that sheet.
Mm-hmm. And, it's interesting, this ballet academy, but they're they don't make it known in the movie if they're building to some performance. Is there presumably a graduation? We don't get any. There's nothing in there with pictures on the wall of like former ballet students or people who became famous after going there, right? It's very sterile in that way. They have the dancing and they have the room to do it. I kept thinking that Natalie Portman movie where she was like the
Black
dancer,
Swan.
Black Swan. I'm sure they like kind of saw this as well, right? There's a lot of these things, Shawn, we're going to start to learn. But thanks to our buddy Speeg about Suspiria and why we should have watched it a long time ago.
We're cultured now. Thank you, Speeg.
That's right. We do pinkies out, Shawn, when we drink our tea. Well, you don't drink hot liquids, but
when I drink my ice cold water, I'll do it pinky out. So now we got poor Daniel, our blind buddy. He shows up back to the house and he leaves his dog outside.
Yeah, that's weird Trent Reznor is what I put in my notes.
Yeah, he does look like one of the 30 Days a Night vampires. He wanders in to see Madame Blanc talking about the fumigating of the maggots upstairs.
Also a great band name.
Fumigating of the maggots. The girl asks Miss Tanner if the head directress slept there last night, but Tanner denies it.
Mm-hmm.
Outside, Madame Blanc's creepy errand lady and her creepy ass kid approach Daniel's service dog, who is chained up outside. We don't see anything, but we hear what sounds like awful noises happening outside to either the dog or the kid.
Yeah, and boy, did I not have high hopes for that dog.
Ugh.
I was like, here we go.
In madness moment.
Uh-huh.
Miss Tanner comes storming down the hallway. She's pissed. She bursts into class where Daniel is playing piano, yells for him to stop everything, and says his dog bit Madame Blanc's extra creepy looking kid. For good reason, I'm sure, probably because he's so goddamn creepy.
I wrote, now she is yelling at Italian Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote in my notes.
Daniel says the same. He says his dog wouldn't hurt anybody without reason. Tanner says she's going to kill the dog, so Daniel quits the piano gig on the spot and leaves.
Oh, yeah, and she's screaming at him. There's this whole thing where he says, I'm not deaf, I'm blind, and yeah, it was before that, Shawn, they cut away to this long shot of the hallway, this very slow shot. We get quite a few moments like that in this movie where we get an eerie silence because when the score does kick in at points, it's overpowering. The color is overpowering. This is like if I'm in charge of making the cake and I put way too much icing on the inside of the one layer on the top because I think like more icing is better. And then you're eating the cake, forking off half the icing I added. So one time, Shawn, I actually had too many sprinkles in my ice cream. I went somewhere. I think we were in not Virginia Beach. What's the other one? One of those, maybe Ocean City, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a place and they give you just a big plastic cup, a clear cup. That's what they put your ice cream in, right? And they give you a lot. And they just put a ton of sprinkles. And at first, you're like, this is amazing. And you're just eating it and eating it. And then at some point, my family and I would just all look at each other and like, I think this might be too many sprinkles. Like, I think they overdid it. I never thought that was the case. And how I felt at that moment after eating that is how I feel at certain points in this movie. It's maybe a little bit too much for me at certain points. Too many bright colors, too many weird sounds, too many like uncomfortable.
Too many sprinkles, Speed.
Yeah,
ease up on the sprinkles.
They're beautiful, but like they're called sprinkles for a reason. Just give it, just sprinkle them around, right?
It is a good point. It is, it's like a sprinkle avalanche. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny. Back in her room, Susie is eating her bland food, drinking her red wine. She wakes up to her roommate asking her if she hears the footsteps of the teachers leaving on schedule at 9:30. Susie doesn't think the teachers leave. The door is on the left. The footsteps are on the right, still inside the school.
Mm-hmm.
Her roommate wants to know where the teachers go, but Susie keeps falling asleep because she's definitely being drugged. Her friend
Right.
wants to investigate and do investigative bits and find out where the teachers go.
And they're feeding her wine. Well, what we think is wine. We're not really sure later on.
That shot is one of the most beautiful shots in cinema.
Yeah.
I guess
And
it was.
bland food is
Give
what
me
they said.
all this. I will put a fistful of salt on that bitch.
Yeah, bland food and wine. This doctor, Shawn. This is like the doctor from The Simpsons. Like it's like the worst
Which
doctor
Nick
ever.
Riviera. Hi,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, just have wine and bland food. Like what could go wrong?
It isn't my friend Mr. Greg with a
So if
leg
these
for an arm
teachers-
and an arm for a leg. Anyway,
But these teachers not leaving.
where are they going?
Where
What
are
are
they
doing?
going? Mm-hmm.
We get these long, like Vertebrae said, long shots of the halls in the school. One of them leads to this door with a greenhouse-looking thing in it, and we get a close-up shot of the moon. This is where shit's getting really friggin' weird for me, Speeg.
Yeah, you really put us in a spot here.
I'm trying, and it's funny because I'm sitting there watching this movie, and even as I get up to the last 10 minutes, I'm like, what is happening in this movie?
Yeah.
We got our buddy Daniel who just quit the gig. He's at the beer garden watching all the German dudes dancing around. I guess he's not watching them. I guess he's listening to them dancing around. He leaves the bar and he's walking home with this trusted, loving dog until it starts freaking out and we could see that they are being watched.
Yeah, it's weird. So he's in this like open area with all these like old buildings around it, but it's this giant kind of courtyard. There's nobody there. Nobody at all is there. It's just very uncomfortable. It has a little bit of, for me, a little bit of a Twilight Zone-y feel to it. And, the dog is getting uncomfortable and protective of Italian Trent Reznor. And then, suddenly, Shawn, what do we get? Like the March of the Pigs kick in or something? We got to definitely get a
We get the
Nine Inch Nails song.
chant. I will add a 9 Inch Nails song for you.
Yeah.
We get the chant again, witch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, the dog's freaking out. I'm feeling tense. Something bad is going to happen.
Note to self, if you hear witch,
Run.
time to go. Time to go.
Yeah. Something flies past Dan and his dog. I feel so bad for both of them. They're being tortured until the dog attacks Daniel. No. So sad. Then the dog starts eating Daniel. How could this happen? They had such a sweet relationship. God damn it.
Yeah, and the way they shoot this, we don't see Italian Trent Reznor's body. We just see meat, and the dog is eating meat. Like they literally just put some, meat there on the ground and attach it to something so the dog can keep pulling it to eat the meat. And it's so sad because that dog clearly was possessed, right? We can say it. They've said it 100 times in this movie by these witches have possessed them, and they're getting the dog to do their bidding. Now, why they're going after, Italian Trent Reznor, I don't know. What did he do to them? The kid got bit, so I guess that's enough.
Yeah, Madame Blank is pissed.
But presumably, then wouldn't you go after, Trent and have him attack the dog, right?
Yeah. Well,
Have him eat his neck.
Maybe they're really pissed that they got no piano player anymore, and they're like, "Damn it, he was the only piano player in town."
We also got this possessed dog running around.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of problems in this spot.
But here's the thing, Shawn: if this dog snaps out of being possessed,
it's gonna be so sad,
and then realizes what he just did.
Terrible.
That's brutal. Speak. What are you doing to us? Now we're
Terrible.
worried, thinking about dogs' feelings after they're not being
Thanks a lot
anymore.
Thanks a lot. So now the girls are chatting at the ballet hall about the death and how this place is cursed, and one of the girls even says this place needs an exorcism. Susie's having a chat with Madame Blanc, going over the case of the dead girl from the beginning. She's talking to her about the secret and the iris, but Madame Blanc seems surprised by all this and claims that she will share all of this info with the police.
And Shawn, earlier when they said this exorcism, I don't know why I thought of Batman. I was like, this town needs an enema. This town needs an exorcism.
Susie discussing the dead girl with her friend, who says she was friends with the girl who died, and she was the one who forbid Susie in the beginning from entering when she arrived in the rain. But we could see that somebody is watching them and stalking them.
Dun. Secrets and irises and her leaving the building. What's happening?
What is happening? Susie's friend is saying the dead girl was acting all sorts of weird before she got killed, and that girl was keeping notes, and now this girl has all of those notes from the dead girl, and she wants Susie to read them.
And one note, Shawn, here for you. The entire structure of this movie came to Argento while he was tripping on acid.
I could kind of tell because it's fucking all over the place. And the colors, and it seems like an acid trip for sure. Later, Susie is woken up out of a deep sleep from the same girl. The notes are now missing, and Susie can barely comprehend what's happening because she is drugged up out of her gourd.
Witches.
Probably also on acid. Her friend
Witches
says,
on acid. No, that's a band name, huh?
Vertebrae's on a roll today.
Witches on acid. There was a band, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. You remember that band?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have one of their songs on the In Madness pod. They were on the Crow soundtrack.
Witches on Acid could open for them. 100% they would open for them.
Susie's friend says she needs to figure out where the teachers go every night. She asks Susie if she knows anything about witches, but again, Susie passes out. Now, this room is brightly lit with shades of red, and when the girl shuts off the light in the room, the whole room turns green. And when she opens the door to leave, outside is red, and it's glowing into the green. And the use of colors in this movie is very cool. Also, the music playing throughout it is this Exorcist kind of like tense music.
And we know where the teachers go. They go to the most fucked up teacher lounge that you could possibly go to.
All the liquor in the world ain't saving that spot. Susie's door slowly opens, and now something is lurking over her. We can't tell because we're looking at her from its point of view. Her friend's running through the house in a panic. She's trying to escape, and again we hear it. Witch. They're really hitting us with it.
Yeah, they're telling us. It's like almost like when somebody wrote it on the side of a car in Weapons.
We see a figure with a black cloak open up a small box with a large straight blade razor in it, I think. Susie's friend is now hiding in this completely blue colored room. She passes one shaded part, and we see again just the eyeballs looking at her, kind of like the scene in Halloween with Michael Myers when he appears behind Laurie. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Grabs her, and she crashes through the glass, but like it touches her, and like she backs up into the glass. And like then does like a 180, and without it touching her, like she breaks the other glass. It's just it's phenomenal acting here.
Yeah, I've fallen. I can't get up. I've fallen again. Oops. It's like it was like Austin Powers when he keeps like falling on the bed or something.
She's crashing through all this glass. She's screaming. She runs into a room and she locks the door. And the girl tries jumping out a window to escape, but jumps into a room of, let me get this right, Speeg, barbed wire. Is this a scene out of Saw? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, so it's either barbed or razor wire, because we don't actually see like the barbed wire points.
Yeah, you just
like the wrapped around. It's kind of just there.
Cable,
yeah. This house, Shawn, like if you're a real estate agent, and you're bringing people through the sale of this house. We also have a fucking razor wire room here where you can safely keep all your razor wire. Don't ever fall out that window though, because you're gonna land right in it. And this scene, Shawn, a tough scene to film, because although it's not razor wire, it's still wire that the actress is in there riding about and was getting cut for real and having some issues. while they were filming it. So some of those reactions, and you're only doing this in 1977, you won't be doing this in 2027, are real reactions to being hurt or injured, which is crazy. But yes, this place has everything, including a room just full of razor wire.
Insane.
Insane.
Again, I'm still watching this movie and we're about 3/4 of the way through, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Thanks, man.
She's screaming bloody murder. A hand reaches over, covers her mouth. She gets sliced open with the razor. Goodbye. She is dead.
That is these are some very dramatic deaths that we get in this movie. There aren't a
with
ton
the
of
razor
them.
is slow and zoomed in, and you can see the flesh expanding and tearing. It's gross. Gross.
And coming off of the scene with the dog chewing the neck too. There's a lot of that in this, and it's I would venture to say I would say that John Carpenter probably has been interested in some Argento work too, right? There's a little bit of that you could kind of see in this as well. And I'm not just saying this movie. I'm saying he's done other movies of this same family, and I could see that too. That very, we got the doctor with the needle. Carpenter likes to do the stuff with the needles. We don't get the direct straight view of it, but yeah, the razor wire room, huh?
Fucking hell. Susie's now looking for this missing dead girl. Miss Tanner tells her the girl disappeared. She's like, we were just speaking, though. She says, Tanner tells her the girl left without saying goodbye to anybody. She packed her bags and she left. Yeah. Shady. Shady.
Yeah.
Susie begins calling around looking for this missing girl. Miss Tanner's telling Madame Blanc about the missing girl, and Madame Blanc can't understand why the girl would leave.
Mm-hmm.
At any point were you like, Madame Blanc, suspect number 7?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that whole crew, the 2 bosses, yeah, they were easy suspects. But I was really stuck on the fact that arm that came through the first window was kind of such a big arm that I was like, oh, that's like Pavlos. Like, that's got to be Pavlos,
Susie meets some dude who knew the missing girl well. This is her psychiatrist. She recently had a nervous breakdown after her mother's death. The girl was told things by a friend of hers that a ballet school was inhabited by a witch. Susie seems to know about this theory, but can't remember who told her, probably because she's always being drugged.
Yeah, and also this psychiatrist is just casually drinking a glass of wine while he talks to her about.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's just sitting outside, having some wine, chilling, talking about this, old pig, giving up information, by the way, that he probably shouldn't be giving up to somebody he doesn't even know. But a few glasses of wine in, and hey, give up the info.
This witch was labeled the Black Queen and was the center of all the town gossip. Regardless, she had a ton of money and founded this dance academy, which also studied the occult, which he pronounces occult.
Yeah, that was throwing me off as well. And also at this moment, Shawn, was when I was like, oh, we are 100% going to see Helena Marcos. I was like, that's happening. That's the person behind the sheet. That's what's going on. They're building to seeing this person.
He says she died in a fire and then the place became a full-blown dance school.
Mm-hmm.
This doc says studying the occult is a mental illness. Bad luck isn't brought on by broken mirrors, but by broken minds. I was like, this needs to be a sample in a hardcore song.
Mm-hmm. That's our band. We'll make a band.
And just sample stuff from movies we cover.
Yeah, but it'll be called occult. And when people pronounce it wrong, we'll correct them.
Yeah. Okay, you mean a cult? Occult.
Get it right.
He then gets the expert opinion of one of the other doctors who has his own theories about witches that he discusses with Susie.
Mm-hmm. He's ready and available to give all this info.
On the dot. The doc tells her the witches look to accumulate great wealth and harm others. Susie asks about the Black Queen. He tells her she was a mistress of magic who lived and died in the city.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about a possible witch coven. He says there's only one strong one. The rest of them are weak. They need the leader in order to have any power. He says there's magic always all over the world.
What do you think about that, Shawn?
Listen, I think the existence of witches would be pretty cool.
What about magic all over the world all the time?
That's pretty scary. Maybe there might be, and you just need to have the shining to access the magic.
Scarier magic all over the world, UFOs, or AI?
I guess AI now, but for me as a child, UFOs definitely.
But not now. Now that it's okay, we all know that they're there and everybody's fine with it.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't matter because everything else is happening.
Yeah, all good. Plenty of UFO talk, but yeah, an AI alien who practices occult. That's something, man. Holy moly.
Susie's becoming skeptical about all this food she's being given to eat. She also realizes this entire house is empty. Miss Tanner took everyone to go to a show and nobody told Susie. Nobody gave her the invite. Nothing to RSVP to.
It's so weird, by the way, because how does that happen in a house you live? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's like, hey, tomorrow we're going about, like, not one person.
She's clearly the outcast here.
Clearly, but is she the only one they're drugging?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Again, where 3.75 quarters of the way through this movie, and I still don't really know what's happening.
Yeah.
She tries making a call and thunder crashes and all the power gets cut. She then begins dumping all of her food down the toilet till a bat flies in the room and starts attacking her. So she traps it and crushes it with a chair.
Yeah, and when she flushes her food down the toilet, first of all, it's like really gross. Like the way they just kind of keep showing it again.
It's a whole like sliver of ham in a toilet.
I don't know why. And then when she pours her wine down the sink, I don't know why you wouldn't pour that in the toilet too, but I guess it's just for visual. It like sticks to the sides. Clearly looks like that movie blood.
Crazy because the sink is glowing, beautiful, bright white.
Right.
And with one swift motion, she dumps the red wine into it, and it, like the movie, like where things just become a whole field of color, the blues, the reds, the sink goes from this bright white to just instantly this blood red, and it's really a sick visual.
And when that bat came in the room, I don't know why it popped in my head, but that Bugs Bunny cartoon popped in my head with with Dracula when he was like abracadabra. And then it changes it, and then he's like abracapocus, and it's like half bat, half vampire, and then he just starts singing it like abracapocus, and like he's holding a rock, and it like crushes him. But I don't know why I thought of that with the bat. I was wanting to turn around and be like abracadabra.
Now Susie's on the hunt to find out where all the teachers go. They don't leave the school at night. They stay in the building, and she wants to know why and where they're going. Finds a secret door. She remembers the girls ranting from the beginning, the secret door behind the lilacs. She sees lilacs painted on the door, and she opens it and is led into a chamber.
And this is the point I wrote in my notes. Why is she still staying there?
There's out.
After that meeting with the professor, there is no reason to go back there. Go back, get your hair brushed, because they're always brushing their hair in these movies. Shawn sitting there, the girls are always brushing their hair for a while. Get your hair brush, get a couple outfits, and break out. Like, what do you why are you staying there? What is the allegiance that you have? Right? There's no reason for you to stay there. I haven't even taught you anything. Presumably you've had like one lesson where you passed out and started bleeding out of the nose. What is this?
The school sucks.
Yeah, this is the worst. There's no reason to be there. The lady is a really lousy RA. They're sacrificing people, you know?
Now she's in this chamber and she runs into old Miss Tanner and Madame Blanc. And what are they talking about? Making Susie vanish, disappear. She must die.
And she goes down this crazy long hallway with all this like ornate wallpaper or painting or whatever with these flowers and like some words and stuff, Sean, is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. There's all this shit on the walls. This
It's like Latin maybe or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
or I don't even know. It's maybe I think it said like Danzig 2 Lucifuge at one point on there. I don't know. It was just mixed. It was mixed in. I don't know.
Madame Blanc is drinking from a cup. She begs for power. Thunder and lightning begin to crash. Susie turns around and finds the dead body of the girl with pins in her eyes and nails in her wrists.
Yeah, like she sacrificed. You've said lightning crashes a couple times. You put that live song on lightning crashes.
It's one of my least favorite live songs.
Is it really?
There's so much. They have other good ones.
I know, but you said like what would be your favorite live song then?
I forget what it's called, but there's other good ones. Ones. I'm not good with live song titles. I just know the ones.
What? I thought you were president of the local chapter of the fan club. Yeah. No.
It seems Susie's spot has now been blown because here comes Big Lurch, the handyman, walking around looking for her.
Yeah, Pavlos is like, let the bodies hit the floor. Let's go. Pavlos is ready. They got me these nice new teeth. I'm about to start
These
kicking
are some
butt.
wacky teeth this dude has.
Yeah.
Susie ends up in a secret room with a sleeping woman. This is our directress, our main big bad. She wakes her up because Susie is making a ton of noise. She goes to stab this image behind the curtain because you see a silhouette, but she moves the curtain and there's nobody there. Just a bed with a huge concave spot in it, like a body's been laying there, much like Norman Bates' mother's bed in Psycho. A door opens and the dead girl with the pins in her eyes walks through it, threatening to stab Susie.
So now they've zombified her friend, bringing her friend back from the dead to attack her. They're really afraid of her for some reason. Who is she? Maybe she's the chosen one, Sean. Yeah. I don't know, but
Susie's got a lot of power.
They think, she obviously does, right? And she's the one.
I don't know, because they don't explain it and they don't tell you anything. And I got 3 lines left in this movie, and I still really don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I mean, she's Alice in Wonderland, right? She's gonna bring it all down. She's Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, right? She's Luke in Star Wars, The New Hope. There's some reason they're very terrified of her in particular.
Got me confused as hell on this one, Speeg. Susie can see the outline of this directress, of this witch, and she like stabs the outline, and now this witch becomes fully visible and looks like a demon from Evil Dead.
Yeah, and this woman who played her, Layla Savasta, Sean, a 90-year-old woman.
Whoa.
She wasn't an actress, and she wasn't credited in the film.
Whoa.
Argento just saw her on the streets of Rome and brought her in.
You're going to be my witch.
Could you imagine? They're like, hey, like if you're 90 years old, and even if you're with it, just think of how out of touch you feel at certain times with certain types of music now. And you're like, what? Who is this band that's, sneaks up on you? Like even like a band like Sleep Token, Sean, you don't realize how huge they are until they sell out a whole entire North American tour in like a couple hours. And you're like, I just heard of them. How are they, or maybe I knew them, but didn't know they were that big. So imagine you're a 90-year-old person and they're going to cast you in this horror movie. And you're just going to come in for a few hours of work for this insanity.
What's that paycheck like?
Yeah, you weren't just probably not much. Probably not much at all. Yeah. And I wonder, did she even see this movie?
There's
when
no
it was
way.
Finished.
Yeah.
Is she going to the premiere? Are you bringing the 90-year-old Helena Marcos to the premiere?
Yeah.
But the ironic thing is of a movie that's got all this wackiness in it, she's actually the one grounding factor to it all. and we actually do get an explanation of her and where she came from, and she's a witch, and that's why she'd still be alive, and they called her the Black Queen. So of the things we get the most explanation of her in this.
But Susie stabs her to death. So things in this room begin exploding. The building is shaking. Susie escapes. She sees Miss Tanner, Madam Blank, Lurch, the butler. They're all bleeding from their heads. They're all on the floor choking for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what the bleeding from their faces was about, Shawn. I don't know if it's, if they're possessed. I don't know.
By this witch, and she dies, and they're her coven, and they die too as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was definitely feeding our heroine our heroine. Is that how you say it? Heroin?
I
Not
guess.
the drug.
Yeah.
The blood. I think that was blood. Like, I don't think that was wine.
Probably.
Right, with drugs in it.
Yeah.
They could all be dipping into that, and the bleeding is just a moment where it's like that evil. I mean, I don't know. Let's think about this for a sec, Shawn. She bleeds from the nose and the mouth before they start kind of drugging her. Maybe it's something to do with the house unto itself. I don't know. Send your theories in. Let us know what the hell's going on right
because
here.
they shine that silver thing in her eyes, and for a second she got blinded, and that's when she started getting all woozy. So
but like Pavlos isn't a witch,
Yeah, well, no, it was the housekeeper, the weird housekeeper
the
lady.
housekeeper.
Maybe
Yeah.
like the signaling of the silver thing in her eyes was like the beginning of like a possession or something.
Yeah, crazy.
The building.
Thanks to Speeg, I
Yeah.
just, I almost finished this drink, Shawn. So I'm starting to lose
Slam it back. We got 2 more seconds left
on the story anyway.
The building's falling apart. Things are blowing up. Susie runs outside. Again, it's pouring like it was in the beginning, but now she's outside of the building, and she's crying, but she seems like she's smiling. She seems like she's happy, and a fire starts inside the house. We hear the screams of those inside. The end.
Yeah, and so kind of a little anticlimactic at the end.
Weird
Like,
movie.
Kills her, the house starts breaking apart, and then she takes off.
Yeah.
We don't know where she's going. We don't know what the explanation is with the rest of the house. I wrote, what a wild ride.
Yeah. What a confusing ride. What a weird, not confusing, just weird, just strange.
I love when people take big artistic swings at things, even if it doesn't click with you. And that's a statement on even what we have right now in the movie industry of like remakes. We're going to get now some more Friday the 13th. We're going to get a TV series. We're going to get this. This is whatever directors take off of, this modern classic or this whatever. Like, we constantly get this. Like, Argento is making this movie. He's not worried about any of that. None of that. He's like, I'm going to rain maggots down on these people.
Weird lighting, weird
lighting. This guy's gonna have some messed up teeth that they covered in new teeth for no reason. We never even get an explanation about it. He's only speaking Romanian. I'm gonna film all the interiors of this movie in Italy, but all the exteriors in Germany, and I don't care. This is how I'm doing it, and I love it. I love the big swings. I think that this, again, was a movie we probably never would have done. I thought this movie, Shawn, and I don't know about you, but forever, because this came out in 1977, I thought this movie was going to be really, really gross for some reason. I don't know why. I just thought it would be.
Yeah. And at points it was, but not overly.
At points it was, but it wasn't the pervading sense of this movie. The, being sort of, it's just very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The whole time.
It wasn't a gore fest.
This is a movie that deserves, I think, other deep dives into it. I found some essays online about people with theories about this. Send in your theories. I found a really cool article about the painter Rothko and his use of fields of color, kind of juxtaposed with Argento's use of fields of color and this, and they're both their uses of red, which is just so overpowering. And there's something to be said for feeling that way almost all the time in this movie. And when it wanes, when we get regular scenes and then it kicks back in, if you notice, Shawn, almost all those times is when the score also kicks back in. Like they slap you in the face right away with everything. But yeah, you messed us up a little bit, Speeg. And
Man, well, what was, and he was raving about this movie since I met him years ago, and he loves Argento, and he loves all these really weird, freaky films. I don't know what the other one he recommended was, but maybe we'll hit it sometime.
Yeah, and Giallo films. You know, at one point when we were talking about having on the podcast, he was going to come in and run through his Giallo films because there are certainly, and I know a little bit about it, but there's certain aspects of Giallo films that they film a certain way for a certain reason. And the stabbing is part of it. But yeah, you know, listen, we pivoted, Shawn, in a big way because this is nothing like the movie that you had lined up for us. Not even close. Not even close.
I let Speed cut the line. But thank you for putting us onto this movie and making it part of the In Madness roster. And I'm glad that we have it because I didn't know what this movie was about. I had not the slightest clue. I didn't even read the description going into it. I just hit play and I was like, let's go and let's do this.
Where did you watch it? Did you watch it on Tubi?
It's on Tubi. That's the only place I could find it was on Tubi.
Which is which is strange as well because there's some commercials on Tubi that kick in a few times.
Commercials.
So you get this like really messed up scene and then it cuts to this strange commercial right afterwards. I was kind of okay with it because I could catch up with my notes.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't mind it too much. It was a good pause point for me.
Yeah. But
I'm glad we did it. Speed would probably be pissed. He's like, you watch with commercials. You gotta get
I'm thinking probably that there are like 750 gnarly bits that he knows about this movie. That he's like, you missed them.
Yeah.
But you know, once again, Shawn, we did this, you know, I've known him a long time now and a good dude and, you know, going to be missed. And thank you for supporting the In Madness podcast. Thank you to everyone who listens to this podcast and follows along with us and participates. And even the people who just don't participate, but they listen to every episode. We appreciate all of it. And, you know, I hope that in the life of this podcast, we don't have to do another episode like this for somebody. But you know, at the time it came in the film and the conversation, I think we did it justice. And I think we're warped. And I think that this movie has forever changed how we'll view movies on this podcast. It's now in the In Madness canon. So now we're going to see other things and we're going to be seeing Suspiria all over the place. Yeah.
I think we did it justice. I think he'll enjoy this when we drop it on Monday. He's going to get a kick out of it and he's going to hear it clearer and there'll be better reception where he's at. And love you, Speeg. And I'm really glad that we were able to do this for our brother. I'm still going to shout out Speeg on the podcast.
Absolutely. There's no reason to stop.
Hell yeah. So with that, you got all your bits in for episode 163, Suspiria. Yeah. Thank you, Speeg. We got a very cool episode coming up next week. We got a very special guest. Maybe we'll hit a movie after that. I won't even tease our guests. I'll just let you'll see who it is next week when we drop a brand new episode 164 next week. Thank you for joining us this week for In Madness Monday for one of the wilder and weirder movies we've ever covered. Suspiria. Cheers, Speeg. Cheers to you if you're listening. Thanks for taking this ride with us. We'll see you next week on In Madness Pod.